Hey y'all, this is episode number 15 of the I Hate Tipping podcast. I'm your host, Collin Key. I'm sorry I've been away for a while, but I was fucking sick for no damn reason at all. Let me tell you, I started off this week heavily in the gym because I got fired from my job and I had all this extra time, and I was like, well shit, I might as well just get in shape and then I had a sore throat and I kept like not being able to heal. I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry about that. I need to do a proper intro to the show. This is unacceptable. I just got so much to talk about, and then I was at the laundromat, and the motherfuckers, it was like bugs crawling on my face and shit, and you'll understand because I had these kids, and kids don't even like hot dogs anymore. What the fuck kind of a kid don't like hot dogs? Anyway, welcome back to the show. It's episode number 15 of the I Hate Tipping podcast. I'm your host, Collin Key. Thank you for being with me again. Thank you for being patient, because I know that the last episode should have been out like a few days ago, but like I said, I was sick. Shit was been going on. I don't have a job anymore, and the weather's weird, and I just got like a cold out of nowhere, and shit is crazy. What do I got going on? Let's see. I have a whole bunch of shit to talk about today. First of all, as always, you can get a hold of me by going to ihatetipping@aol.com. Shoot a nigga an email. I will get back to you directly. I promise. You have my word. You might even win some free swag, like a fucking t-shirt or a free copy of the book. Speaking of the book, I wrote a book. Here's the mandatory book plug of the day. By the way, friends, I wrote a book.
Get the book.
It's called These Ones Are Mine.
Buy the book.
It's my first book.
Pick up a copy of the book.
It's my first one.
Do it by the book.
You should buy it.
Buy it by the book.
It's full of crazy stories.
Cook it by the book.
Cop stories, sex stories, fight stories, adventure stories,
You can pick up a copy of the fucking book.
fart stories, stories about animals, military stories, childhood stories, drug and alcohol stories, tobacco stories, and a whole bunch more stories. And every story is absolutely true. The book is available on Amazon and Kindle, and 100% of the proceeds from the book goes to buying me a mansion and a Porsche.
For crying out loud, get the book.
Thank you for buying my book, and thank you for your support. I love you. All right, so thank you for buying a copy of the book. Thank you for suggesting somebody else buy a copy of the book. Anyway, my throat hurts now as I'm trying to talk. This fucking sucks. Who the fuck just gets sick? I was doing so good at the gym. You don't even understand. I was kicking ass in the gym. I was fucking like mini Hulk. And then I just had no energy. Like 2 solid days in the gym, then no days in the gym for like the past 5 days. Sleeping for fucking 12 hours a day. Well, not sleeping, laying there for like fucking 12 hours a day. No energy, a banging sore throat, headache, coughing and shit. Like, where did this come from? Then it dawned on me last week. I was over at my mom's house for dinner, and my brother was there, and this dude said that he had taken NyQuil, and I was like, my mom don't even have no NyQuil, dude. And he was like, that purple shit in the fucking medicine cabinet. That purple shit. I was like, first off, why are you taking NyQuil? He said, because I'm sick. I was like, sick how? Sore throat. I had totally forgot about that conversation. But just to cap off that story, this dude had taken Equate sleep aid, but it looks like NyQuil. So he thought it was the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, sore throat, suck a dick medicine. But it was actually just the sleep medicine without all the medicine. And he took that shit and was sitting there at dinner trying to fight it and not fall asleep. He looked like an asshole. His just fucking head bobbing up and down. It was funny, but it wasn't funny when I got sick. I lost a week to that. I lost my whole first fucking week of not having a job to being sick. Fucking laying around like a douche. I'll get into all that. Anyway, so we got the email out of the way. Facebook, Collin Key, hit me up, do whatever. I post pictures all the time. What else am I on? I'm on all of the social media shit. The Instagrams and the Twitters and shit. Collin Key 5 on Twitter. Collin Key on Instagram. I don't know how this shit works, but I do post all the time. That is all of that. I just cracked open bottle number 4 of Elysian Space Dust IPA, my number 1 favorite. But I have to say, over this past week, I have been drinking a different beer, which is Sierra Nevada Hoptimum. That shit is like a fucking flavor explosion in your tonsils and your taste buds and shit. And I like it way better, but it's just so fucking expensive. It's like $17 a six pack. I bought like 4 6-packs over the past week. I'm just like, damn, this shit's like $60 a case, but I love it. And it honestly is my favorite flavor of beer right now. But I went back to the Elysian because it's cheaper. But the Sierra Nevada Hoptimum, what I was just talking about, is 9.6% alcohol. Elysian Space Dust is only 8.2%. And damn, it makes it taste like fucking water, yo. You can't, it's like drinking vodka and then drinking Bud Light. Fuck, these IPAs are definitely becoming a problem for me in my lifestyle. Anyway, so in my own personal news, how's your life, by the way? Everything good? You still got a job? Yeah, you worried about paying your rent? No? Your company just shit can you after they just lie to you and tell you got at least 60 days before the merger means anything to anybody, and then the very next Monday come and tell you that this coming Friday is going to be your last day? You don't have them kind of fucking issues? Yeah, you know, whatever. I ain't got no room to complain. I was at the laundry the other day. There's like 2 rows of dryers. There's a top row and a bottom row. And I had 3 dryers on the top row, and this whack ass old lady with all this makeup on, who was all ghetto and diva'd out like she was one of them housewives of Atlanta broads who I can't stand. I like immediately when she walked in the fucking laundromat, I wanted to leave. She was just talking like an asshole. And y'all motherfuckers don't know about me, like that kind of a fucking attitude. I just want to get away from her. I think I put in my earbuds and was just sitting there staring at my phone, and she went and she couldn't find any top row dryers. They were all taken. So she took the dryers directly underneath mine and then fed in like fucking $58 worth of quarters, all for my dryers. I didn't even notice it. I was looking at my phone and I looked like my shit was like almost done. It was like 1 minute left on all 3 of my dryers. I looked up and I had like a half an hour on all these dryers. And I was like, what the fuck? And then she was looking at it like, I did what? And her like grandson was trying to explain to her. She was like, ah. I was cracking up inside because I hated her anyway. But then I did the right thing and I consolidated my shit, since it was always almost done, into one dryer. Let her have the other ones. It was her money. It was funny because she was an asshole, and I shouldn't have done that because she was a cunt, but I did. Whatever. That was some funny shit. Side note about public fucking laundromats. I don't like them.
No, I don't like that at all.
When I was in there, as soon as I walked in there, I started feeling like shit, like bugs were crawling on my face, and everybody in there looked like they stink. Anyway, that shit was funny. Yeah, I looked up and I had like an extra half an hour on my dryers, and she was just looking pissed. And I kind of felt like that was the universe, like, yeah, stop being a fucking asshole. Like her whole persona was just double assholed up. The older I get, the less I like public shit, period. Like buses, there's no way I could live in New York and be on the subway. Have you seen some of those New York subway fucking videos that are out there? Like I seen one broad that was on there just like finger banging herself in front of everybody. Another broad was like throwing shit at people. Another one like pissed on herself. You have like people like flipping out, and there's always some whack shit going on in the subways and shit. And there's no fucking way. People act like that's the greatest place in the world to live. It is an overcrowded shithole from what I've seen. Holy fuck. Anyway, and where I live is like a little mini version of that. I can't imagine living there. I saw that fucking documentary called Rats, and oh my goodness, watch that documentary about rats. It's called Rats. It's by Morgan Spurlock or whatever his name is. He's the one who did all them other documentaries about cool shit, like the greatest documentary ever sold and Super Size Me and whatever else. He does all those. He does good shit, and this one about rats is bananas. He did New York City, but they would only let him do little bits and pieces in New York City. But it's enough to let you know which fuck you're dealing with when you're there. New York City is tragic. It is fucking it. People who live there are under some kind of a spell. Like it's $5,800 for a fucking closet bedroom apartment that you're sharing with 68 other people. You're paying like $5,000 for a fucking room in an apartment a month to live in a place that has black mold, rodents that you have to fist fight, and landlords that don't speak English and that basically hate you. Like, I do not get it at all. Like, if you're a comedian, I guess you kind of want to be in New York. Other than that, you're subjecting yourself to hell and lying to yourself. Oh, I don't get it. Anyway, the only reason I went to the public laundromat up the street anyway is because the one in my building, I went down in the basement. I was about to put my shit in the washer, and I looked down in there, and it was like weird, dried up sperm looking shit all over the inside of the washer. And then at the top rim of the washer, like the opening, the mouth part, the very top, there was like red period blood looking shit smeared all around there. And I was just like, yeah, I don't need this in my life. So then I went to the public one, and I came back feeling like I had bed bugs. So you just can't win unless you have your own house. So please buy the book so I can get the fuck out of here. If you love me, buy the book. I was going to talk about how officially old I feel, but I got to switch that up because, like I said, I realized that I was sick. What happened was Monday and Tuesday, I had like these epic workouts at the gym. I was feeling like Superman. I was feeling so good. I didn't have to work. I had the day to focus. I got in there. I spent as much time as I wanted to, and I didn't overdo it. I killed it on pecs and what? I don't know what I did. I did like leg day, and I did like abs, and I did like arms and like chest and I don't know, some other shit. And I was feeling great. And then Wednesday, I was super sore, which I expected. I took the day off of the gym and went for a bike ride. Wednesday night, I felt like I was dying. I was so sore I could barely climb in and out of my truck. Thursday, I literally like almost couldn't get off the fucking couch. I fell asleep on a couch and almost couldn't get up off the couch because I was in such pain, my whole body. What was that, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. Like I got increasingly more and more fucking sore, like pain. My whole body was in pain, and I already know what I'm supposed to feel like from working out, and this was way beyond that. And then finally, I think Thursday night or Friday morning or something, it dawned on me. I was like, oh shit, I'm sick. Like my brother said he was sick. I have a fucking half of a sore throat. That's why my body's not healing. That's why I'm like hurting. Like that shit attacked me. So like I said, I was going to start off talking about how I feel officially old, but it was because I was sick. I mean, my legs, people had to be looking at me like I was like, what the fuck's wrong with him? I was like duck walking everywhere. My legs were in so much pain. Oh my goodness. I finally feel okay. What is it, Saturday? So it's Monday. I finally feel okay. I still feel it in the back of my throat. Whack fucking bullshit. It's because of this weather. Nobody's talking about how fucking whack the weather is. Up and down, up and down, up and down. There was tornadoes yesterday. There's not usually tornadoes where I live. There was a fucking heavy tornado warning yesterday. This shit is weird. The world's about to end, in case you didn't realize it. Yeah, so I got let go from my job. My company got absorbed by another bigger company, and they started trimming down the runs and consolidating everything immediately, and my job went bye-bye. The fucked up part about it was we all knew that changes were coming, but 2 or 3 weeks ago, I don't know, we all got called to Ohio, like in another state, for this big meeting. And at this big meeting, the new company said to us, all of our jobs were fine. Nobody has nothing to worry about. They also said that changes are coming, runs are going away, but nobody has nothing to worry about. And even if by some chance your run does get cut, it's not happening for at least 60 days. So nobody has nothing to worry about. The very following Monday, I got a call from my boss to come to work early because his boss, the big boss of the company, wanted to talk to me. At least they were nice enough to give me severance pay, which I haven't got yet. I'm hoping that they're going to be honorable about that. We'll see what happens, because it could be way worse. It could be way, way worse if that shit went sideways for some reason. And I'm supposed to get 2 weeks vacation pay on top of that. The shit that sucks is that I've been there this is my 4th year. It took me 3 years to fucking earn my 2 weeks of vacation, which I didn't get to use. I had already scheduled 1 week of vacation. I was going to take a vacation in June, the first week in June. Didn't get to do that. Starting in a new job, that means starting back at the bottom, having to work my way up to earn motherfucking vacation all over again. It means filling out tax forms and filling out applications and going for piss tests and going for interviews and applications and searching for fucking job listings and I really hate that. Like, I've done so much of that in my life. And the part that bothers me the most is I know 40 people who haven't worked a fucking 20th of what I've worked in my life, and they're just fine because they live off the system, or they live off of robbing other people or whatever, getting by however they do. And I chose the honorable path, but the honorable path is the path that makes you just have the fucking it just sucks. I hate being a fucking part of this system I feel like a slave. Like, I feel like I've already done way more than my part for society. It really bums me out. It bums me out to have to prove myself to another company. It bums me out to have to apply to another company. I just don't want to work anymore. And I mean that with all my heart. Like, I'm not going to fucking start selling drugs or robbing shit or nothing like that. But I'd be honest. I'd be completely honest with you. I have no interest in working jobs anymore. I remember that movie, what the fuck is it called? The Giver, with that old dude, whatever, from all the movies. And they were like having some ceremony or something, and this young woman came up to the podium, and I don't know. Somebody was talking to somebody else, and she said, yeah, and now I know that I've been chosen to be a clerk or whatever. And she says, my purpose. I will never forget that. Your purpose? Fuck you. I guess if you're a horse, then your purpose is to pull fucking carriages. Or if you're a sled dog, your purpose is to pull sleds. I'm neither of those. I'm full of potential and ideas and desires for my own life. Dreams, whatever you want to call it. I work jobs because I have to. Because I need money in this shitty, stupid, whack fucking system that we live in. That we call the best in the world. This is the best we can do. The American dream. A dream is the best that we can do in the whole world. America is the best in the fucking world. The American dream is the best that we have in the entire world. A dream. How many fucking dreams come true? You don't think we can do better than dreams? I'm telling you, I think if you do 20 years of work, your work for society is fucking done. 20 years of 8-hour shifts of work. You've done your part. Enjoy the rest of your life. Fuck. All right. I'll say 30. 30 years of 8-hour shifts. You know, normal fucking 40-hour weeks. 25 years, 8-hour shifts, 40-hour work weeks. You have done your fucking part for society. You can fucking retire. If you want to keep working, awesome. We'll applaud you. We'll fucking celebrate you. We'll have a fucking, what's your name? Mark Genesis. We'll have Mark Genesis Day. Mark Genesis decided he put in 25 years as a fucking as a construction worker or a roofer, and he decided to keep doing it because he loves it. Fucking awesome. Collin Key has done fucking 25 years of bullshit work, and Collin Key is fucking tired of it. I'm so ready to retire. I can't even explain it. I talk about it with my boss all the time. He talks about just going off into the woods with a tent and a fishing rod and just going off the grid and retiring. I'm almost there. Mentally, spiritually. I hate being in this fucking system. I hate it. Anyway. Since I don't have a job, I have had a bunch of time to binge watch a bunch of TV and movies over the past week. I watched the whole first season of a Netflix series called Travelers. That show, at first, like the very beginning of the first episode, I was like, what the fuck is this? I almost turned it off. I'm so glad that I didn't, because that show sucked me in and did not let go. That motherfucking show put a damn choker chain on me and held me fucking, it tied that choker chain to the fucking arm on my couch. And I sat there and watched either 11 or 12 episodes of season 1. I fucking binge watched the shit out of. And I love that show. The season finale is bananas. There's so much shit happening that neither me or the characters in the show have any clue what's going on. It's like complete chaos, but like focused, interesting, awesome chaos. Excellent writing. It's called Travelers. I want more, and luckily for me, they are taping a second season, which is supposed to come out this autumn. Hopefully. Fell in love with it. It's really, really good. It's really deep. It's got very complex characters and relationships, and it gets tense as fuck at times. What it's about is, I shouldn't tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Watch the show. It's a Netflix original series called Travelers. It's on Netflix. Check it out. On top of Travelers, I've also been catching up on season 3 of Fargo. If you haven't had Fargo in your life, get Fargo in your life. I'm not talking about the movie Fargo. If I say Fargo, what do you think of? You think of that movie back in the day with that woman and what's his face from Shameless, that fucking dude. Wasn't that dude from Shameless in there?
William H. Macy.
Anyway, this is the series of Fargo. The series of Fargo has nothing to do with the movie Fargo. Season 1 of Fargo has Billy Bob Thornton and his fucking bananas. Season 2 of Fargo has the dude from Sinister and his fucking bananas. Season 3 has who's in this famous? That famous British dude. I can't fucking remember his name.
That lad is who we call Ewan McGregor.
Anyway, and he plays twins. He plays himself and his own brother. It's fucking banana. And Mary Elizabeth Jean Hart. Mary Masterson Tonio, the white babe from Die Hard, Die Another Day, The Harder with Bruce Willis. Die Hard 4, she was the daughter. And Cloverfield Lane, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Mary Hartmanson. I don't know. Big old brown eyes, beautiful, tall, skinny chick.
That would be Mary Elizabeth Winstead for the win.
Whatever. It has her. The show, season 3 of Fargo is fucking awesome. I'm on episode, I think, 7 now. It started off, and I thought maybe with season 3 they kind of missed. Like, it almost lost me on the first episode. I was like, not so good. But by the end of the first episode, I was like, okay. Episode 2, locked in. The Coen brothers, I believe, is who make these fucking series. They know what they're doing. But I will say this: while all 3 seasons so far are fucking A+, I'm seeing some common themes in from all 3 seasons. But it's not a bad thing. But I don't know if anybody else is talking about this or not. Without going into any spoilers, I'll just say in season 1, there was a cop who had a hunch about something and wanted to investigate it, and her superior gave her shit about it, like gave her friction about investigating it the whole time. And there was a bad guy but like an underdog bad guy who was not going to give up no matter what. In season 2, there was a cop who was onto some shit, but their superior didn't believe them, was like, fuck you, I got this, let me take care of this, you've done enough. Same as the first season. And there was an underdog couple who there was an underdog couple who was not about to back down. They didn't give a fuck how underdog they were not going to back down for shit. It's the same thing in season 3. It's not a bad thing, but it's just some similarities that I noticed that I haven't heard anybody else talk about. Also, as I mentioned before, I found a new favorite beer the other day. It's pretty fucking expensive. It's $16 a 6-pack, but worth every penny. The main thing about this beer, how I know how quality it is when I fucking pop that lid off, the aroma from this beer is amazing. Every sip, the aroma floats up into my nose, making it even more impressive, and making it worth the money. Fucking $56 a case plus tax. That's a lot of money for beer. $16 a 6-pack. But it smells heavenly. It tastes perfect. It's like so complicated. Sierra Nevada Optimum Triple IPA. It's 9.6% alcohol, and I fucking absolutely love it. Because of this beer, I started to realize that I'm actually becoming a beer snob full blown, because I find myself holding the first sip of the beer in my mouth for a few seconds to let the flavor take hold of my palate, and I'm actually beginning to be able to pick out different flavors in the beers, like pine and hops and fruits and shit. Like, I took a big sip of that Optimum the other day, and after I swallowed it, I was like, holy shit, that's pine. Before I buy a new beer, I always go on a website called Beer Advocate, and you read this description of these beers, and they're like, it has heavy
hints of barley, and there's notes of pine, and there's definitely a wispiness of grapefruit. It's got a 2-inch head that's golden.
And you just read this shit like, what kind of an asshole? But I'm starting to do that shit without even thinking about it. It's a thing. It's just like fucking wine. Like, these IPAs are complicated. They're complicated to make. And I'm at the point where, I'm being careful not to eat certain things before tasting a new beer, just to make sure that I get the full unadulterated flavor. And it's happening without me even trying to do it. On that subject, my boss gave me a bottle of some shit called Hop Deranged Quad IPA as my going away present from my job. It was 13.8%. And that shit was so strong that it reminded me of when I was in the military and had straight grain alcohol in some shit we used to call jungle juice. If you put jungle juice, we used to take fucking 5-gallon jugs of Kool-Aid basically and put fruit chunks and shit in it. And then you'd have 5 gallons of fucking juice, and then we would pour one small bottle of grain alcohol in there. And it didn't even matter how much you diluted the grain alcohol. As soon as you tasted it, it would just burn your mouth. 1 part per million. That shit is going to give you a numb feeling in your mouth and make your lips burn. And I swear that's how I felt drinking this fucking beer. It was called Hop Deranged Quad IPA. That shit, I would not buy it. It'd be fun to drink as shots, like, and it'll be great at parties and shit. But it's way, way, way too strong to try drinking a whole bottle of it alone. Anyway. One more beer review of one that I just had for the first time the other night was called Flying Dog Calypso IPA. It's 8% alcohol. It ain't bad, but it honestly tasted watery. I didn't hate it, but I won't buy it again. That's all I have to say about it. Flying Dog Calypso IPA. The bottle looks cool. I like the design of the bottle. I took a picture of it and put it on Facebook with me holding it up, cheesing like, look at this. Yeah, I won't buy it again. Forgot all about it. Next segment. True story. Do you remember Y2K? Do you remember where you were for Y2K? By Y2K, I mean the year 2000. Do you remember how everybody was saying that the world was going to end? Like the Prince song, Party Like It's 1999. And then like that New Year's, everybody was kind of paranoid about what was going to happen. And then it was supposed to be this like computer virus and shit. Well, the first thing I want to say is I knew a very, very rich dude who totally believed in that shit happening. The Y2K crash of the fucking system and the world going into chaos. He believed in it so much that this very, very rich millionaire older guy that I knew bought a tractor trailer and filled the trailer up with doomsday supplies. Which is probably still sitting outside his fucking business today. It was sitting there for years, and I would go, and when I was truck driving, I was back when I had jobs, I would drive and deliver to his fucking place, and he had a fucking trailer sitting out there, and people used to talk about like, yeah, he's got powdered milk in there and bullets and fucking tents and emergency blankets and radios and all kind of shit, everything. So people really did believe in that shit. Me personally, on New Year's of 2000. From 1999 to 2000. I was in Paris and I wrote the story about how racist of a fucking city and how stinky and shitty Paris is, and my whole fucking thing about that in the book that I wrote. But that's not what this story is. This story is that, so when I was there in Paris for New Year's 2000, I mean, there were people with bulletproof vests walking around, number one. Number two, there were more people there in Paris than I have ever seen in my life. It was the most overcrowded place. Like when you see New York for the ball drop ceremony and all that, it was like that, but like times 10. It was so crazy that I literally saw the group of people that I was with was holding hands so that we could stay together, and we got separated in the sea of people. Okay, and when you're in a sea of people that's so elbow to elbow tight together in the streets, like running water, just moving, you're going whichever way the fucking current is taking you. I got separated from my buddies. They went that way, I went this way, and then I saw a lady screaming bloody murder because she had been holding her like infant baby like a fucking moron. What kind of a moron goes into that shit with a newborn baby? Everybody was afraid that somebody was gonna bomb the shit, like a terror attack, and she's out there with like a fucking infant. Dropped her infant, and her infant was getting I'm sorry, it's not funny, but it's funny. Her, not infant, but her like little fucking child was being trampled by the sea of people, and she couldn't even stop her own self from being pushed by this current away from the baby that was on the ground being trampled. And nobody, and the people were stepping on the fucking kid and didn't even realize it because you're like shoulder to shoulder with people. Like it was that many fucking people there. It was a bad thing. And fuck Paris, by the way. Anyway, with Y2K, the whole thing that was supposed to happen was that computers up until that point were only set to go to 2000, I believe is what the problem was. Like their internal clocks would only go to 2000, or no, they would only go to 1999. And then nobody knew what would happen after that because computers had to come out way before that, and they had never even like considered past the year 2000. So they didn't know what would happen once 2000 came. They figured that all the computers would crash. All the computers in the world did not crash, but the ones at the rental fucking store on base in Ramstein, Germany in 2000 did crash. And because of that, I got out of significant late fees from the video store. True story. I went in and I went to rent, like after I went on my Paris trip for 2000, came back to base in Germany, went in there to rent some movies, and I knew that I had late fees, and they said the computers all wiped out and all my fucking late fees were gone. True story. I'm going to take it even further though. So for Y2K, and as far as I know, that's the only actual thing that happened that of anybody that I know because of Y2K. But it did happen to me. Legitimately, literally, I did get out of paying rental fees because of Y2K. The computers at the video store on base at Ramstein, Germany in 2000 wiped clean all of everybody's fucking rental fees, and I didn't have to pay. I probably had $40 in rental fees because I was always fucking late on my shit. I didn't rewind them, and I was, as you can tell if you've been following the show, I was a movie fanatic then as I am now. So that's enough about the Y2K shit. But in relation to that same video store from back then, and I miss video stores. Did you know they still have Blockbuster videos in Alaska? I just found that out. They still have like fucking 29 different fucking Blockbuster videos that are owned by one dude, and he just kept them open. And because it's harder for them to get movies up in Alaska, and so he's just still doing it. I don't know how he kept rights to this shit, but whatever. I personally do miss video stores because I miss the relationship. I would go in there and talk to the dude working. I'm like, hey, what's new? And he would know me, and he'd be like, no, you seen that? Oh, you need to check that out. That's how I found that movie Haven. I will never forget that. There's a movie called Haven with Zoe Saldana in it, and I went in the video store and I was asking the dude, what's new? And he said, you've seen everything, dude, but you haven't seen this. And he gave me a copy of Haven, which wasn't new, but it was like a not low budget, but it was like like a fucking top tier movie or whatever you call that. And I watched it and I loved it, and that's how I found Zoe Saldana and music that I love and everything. Good movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. It's about the Cayman Islands and money laundering and shit like that. Haven. Good movie. Anyway, there's an LL Cool J / Val Kilmer movie that I saw that I rented from that video store in Germany. And it's called Mindhunters. Okay? There's something strange about that movie. The movie is about, I believe, either the FBI or the CIA. So Val Kilmer is like a boss in the CIA or the FBI or whatever. It's been a long time since I've seen it, so you have to forgive me. And he takes new recruits to this fucking island, if I remember correctly, to put them through these tests to see if they're worthy of being in the CIA / FBI, whatever it is. LL Cool J is one of the recruits, I believe, and like maybe Vera Farmiga or I don't know, some females and some dudes, not Vera Farmiga, I don't know, a bunch of people. But then while all these like new recruits go to this island, the CIA island, people start dying, and you don't know if it's Val Kilmer doing it on purpose. You don't know if it's real or what's happening or whatever. Pretty good movie. I remember specifically me and my buddy in Germany from that same video store where my rental fees disappeared from, renting this movie, watching it, going kind of bananas for it because it's a pretty damn good movie. Me and him were both movie fanatics. This was in either late 1999 or early 2000. Watched the movie with him in his dorm room. We both fucking loved it. Forgot about it. Months later, I separated from the military. Came back to the States. Years after coming back to the States, saw a trailer for the movie about to be released in the United States. Way after I fucking seen it. I had rented it on DVD in a video store years before it was released at home in the States in the movie theaters. But that shit happens. That's not what's weird about it. What's weird about it is I looked up the actual release dates of it. In Germany, Mindhunters was released in theaters in June of 2004. Okay? I separated from the military in November of 2000. So that just gives you an idea. In the US, it was released in theaters in May of 2005. And then on military bases, it was released in theaters in July of 2005. And this is all according to IMDb. I rented that shit from the video store in Germany in 1999 or maybe early 2000. It could have been late 99, early 2000. I was there for 2 years, from 99 until like October 2000 or November 2000. I watched it with my buddy and we both loved it, and that shit is very fucking weird. Like I saw commercials for it and was like, I've seen that movie. I can tell you exactly how that movie ends. What the fuck's going on here? And then I figured it was just that maybe it got released over there in Germany ahead of time, but no, it didn't actually. Like I don't know what. So what I'm saying is, I think that video store must have had a bootleg copy and just made copies of that copy and just had a bunch of copies and just rented it to whoever, because I had it way before it was even released in theaters in the States, let alone in Germany. Pretty cool, actually. Next segment. Ladies and gentlemen, movie talk time.
Spoiler alert!
First movie I want to talk about, Alien Covenant. I saw this shit and I have very strong opinions about this movie. So, but I'm gonna be honest with you, like, I have not watched any reviews about it yet, but I've heard little things here and there about what people are saying about it. So I'm late to the party. I'm not late to the party, but basically I think what I have to say about it has already been said. But if you come here for the movie reviews, I appreciate you and I love you the most. So hopefully I'm the first one that can persuade you to either like or dislike this movie, or see it or don't go see it. Here's what I think about Alien Covenant. I'm going to break it up into likes and dislikes. I really liked the scene when David brought the ship to the engineer city and wiped all the motherfuckers out instantly. Like, they showed the city, the interior of the engineer city on whatever the fuck the name of that planet was first. And you see like dead bodies like running, but they got caught and murdered some kind of way really quickly, and so their bodies are like stuck like reaching out and running away, and like in every direction they're all running away and killed, and like their bodies are mummified like that, and you see that and you're like, what the fuck happened to cause that? Then you find out that it was David, the fucking android, who him and what's her face, Numi Rape Face, him and her came to the planet and dropped a bunch of fucking virus on the planet basically and killed all the engineers. That shit was cool as fuck, and they showed the whole scene when that happened, when they dropped all the fucking virus down and all the engineers were looking up like with their hands up like, yes, the ship's come home, oh, and then they all just got murdered. It was pretty fucking cool and crazy. I love that. I love the scene when at the beginning, I'm like 99% sure, but I'm not 100% sure that it was James Franco who got flame broiled like a Burger King commercial inside of his hyperpod. That shit was crazy as fuck. Way to open up a movie. That nigga got fucking shish kebabbed and barbecued, and he got fucking pressure cooked. That was fucked up. Very cool. The visuals of the movie as a whole were very fucking awesome. Just like Prometheus. Same shit. Very, very good looking fucking visuals all around. That is where my likes of this movie end, unfortunately. As far as dislikes go, firstly, and there's a list. When James Franco died at the beginning of the movie, when he got fucking Burger King, the crew wanted to fucking have a funeral immediately, even though their ship was like fucking rickety, like falling apart, and there were like 1 million people on the ship, and they know that they need to handle the ship first. Okay, this was my biggest problem with this movie. Number one, that the dude died, the captain of the ship died, and everybody, all the rest of the fucking crew of the ship was like demanding that they stop and have a funeral for this dude before they repair the ship. That shit don't make no sense. That shit would make sense for like a public transit bus worker and like a TSA agent, like level individual. If you are a person who is in charge of a fucking spaceship that is flying across the fucking cosmos to repopulate to seed another planet with human beings to keep the human race alive, you would not be even considered for that fucking role if you were in the slightest bit emotional. You wouldn't be on that fucking ship with your spouse anyway, number one. And number two, the crew would not be, oh, fuck that, we need to have a funeral for the captain. Motherfucker, there's 88 holes in the ship. The computer keeps saying there's 88 holes in the ship. There's 88 holes in the ship. Well, not literally, but I'm just saying like the ship is all fucked up because of the shit that happened. And these assholes seriously can't get their shit together enough to put the funeral on hold until they get the ship fixed so that everybody doesn't die. Like, that doesn't make no sense to me. On top of that, the new captain, the new captain is dubbed new captain. All the rest of the motherfuckers in the ship are like, oh, we need to have a funeral for the old captain. And the new captain's like, fuck you! No! We gotta fix this fucking ship now! And fuck him! But that doesn't make sense either, okay? The new captain, he was only number 2. He wasn't like number 58 down on the line like some fucking lowly janitor motherfucker who all of a sudden is captain because he'd been, rank or something. He was the next in line. He's got to have the fucking gusto to at least think about it and be like, okay, hey, I know you're all emotional. I promise we will get to the funeral shit. But first, we got air leaks over in Quadrant C, and we're leaking gas over in fucking Receptacle A. Whatever. Like, he should have had some type of fucking people skills. He was just like, no, fuck you, we're not going to do that. It didn't make no sense. That was my main fucking problem with this movie, is you have a crew of motherfucking emo assholes in charge of a ship with thousands of people and like this desperate mission, like this most important of missions for humanity, and you have these motherfucking emotional douchebags in charge of it. Motherfucking Danny McBride was going to bring the ship down out of fucking orbit from this planet because he was afraid of his wife, where his wife was. Unacceptable. He was risking thousands of people because of his cornball ass already dead wife. That shit does not make no sense. You do not put overly emotional people in charge of thousands of other people's lives. Period. The thing that would have made sense was to have the entire crew made up of androids like David, who were completely unemotional. Instead of that, so they basically made or not David, what was his name? Walter? I don't know what the fuck his name, Walter or something. The other, not the David, the new version of David. They basically made him a janitor who was running around making sure that the ship was okay while everybody else was asleep. And then when there was a problem, they woke everybody else up. His ass and a whole crew of robots like him should have been in control of the ship, and there should have been like one human being pop up to give like a judgment call every once in a while. That's what would have made sense. That shit bugged the fuck out of me. Like, there's no way in fucking hell that there would be any chance of Danny McBride taking a fucking ship down and endangering the fucking lives of everybody in a lightning storm. The whole mission because him and his wife. Fuck you. Fuck that. That doesn't make no sense. So that was the first dislike. Second dislike. There's the scene whenever they land on this new planet. They take a drop, like a little mini ship off of the big ship. They go down to check out this new planet, and they land, and the crew gets off, and they're going to explore. They're going towards this distress signal or whatever it is. Somebody says, okay, how far is it to the signal? And somebody says it's 8 clicks. Right there, I'm like, excuse me? 8 clicks? If you're not familiar, 8 clicks is 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers is probably about 6 miles. Okay? These motherfuckers were walking through 6 miles of basically jungle on the floor of a unexplored, completely foreign fucking planet, not fucking country, planet, and they have a spaceship. You understand? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Number one, if you land and it says, oh, our target's 6 miles that way, either A, you get back on the fucking ship and fly that 6 miles to where the fuck the shit is, because you know that later on that ship is flying that 6 miles to come and pick you up there anyway. So it doesn't make any fucking sense for you to be walking 6 miles. But on top of that, the 6 miles that they were walking, okay, the year in this, I believe, was 2144. They have spaceships capable of going across the fucking universe to seed new planets for people to inhabit, but they don't have rocket boots or jetpacks or some shit. These motherfuckers literally have to fucking traipse through 6 miles of jungle and dangerous who the fuck knows what. Get the fuck out of here. Makes no sense. That is I kept thinking about 8 clicks the whole time I was watching the movie. I was like, 8 clicks? 8 clicks? What the fuck? Another point. The damn little ship that came down and dropped them people off, and then they had to walk 8 clicks to the fucking destination. When they got there, that ship got blown up or some shit happened to it. Then Danny McBride had to bring the big ship down in the fucking orbit to come and rescue them. Why the fuck would a ship that big only have one tiny little ship on it, one little probe ship? You have to figure that you're probably going to run into some shit and probably lose at least a couple of those little mini drop ships. Why the fuck would they only have one? They had one motherfucking little mini dropship. If you looked in the cargo bay of the big ship, they had all kind of extra trucks. They were just dumping trucks out the back to get the fucking alien off. Shoot the trucks out. Shoot another truck out. Shoot another truck out. They only had one little mini dropship. Makes no sense. Oversight, whatever. That's the kind of shit that fucking gets to me. That and the fact that the whole crew was emo as fuck. Emo motherfucking astronauts don't make sense. Astronauts need to be cyborgs who can get the shit done. That didn't make no fucking sense at all. Next problem with this movie. Where the fuck was the spare parts for Walter, the new android, so that he could replace his damaged arm? Walter was an android. He was awake alone for like 100 years while the rest of the fucking human crew was in hypersleep or whatever. If he had any type of fucking problems, you know that there would be all types types of motherfucking extra parts for him to repair himself. This dude had his arm got damaged, and it was damaged for the whole rest of the fucking movie. The next thing that doesn't make sense about this movie, David the android, who was from Prometheus, the old android, who was supposed to be more human-like than the new Walter one or whatever his name was. David's whole deal, and really the whole point of this movie, was that he wanted to create life. He was kind of pissed off that his creator had kind of taunted him, saying that we create shit, you don't create shit. So at the end of this movie, David was so proud that he had created something and that was the whole point of this fucking movie. But if you pay attention, David didn't create fucking shit. The only thing that David did was take what the fucking engineers had already created, or they may have not even created it either, gathered, however the fuck they had acquired the shit. David acquired it from them and started fucking doing tests. He just basically set it loose on different fucking organisms and was seeing what it was doing. And then at the end of this movie, he was supposed to be all super proud of himself for creating life. He didn't create anything. All he did was just let this fucking virus that the engineers already had loose on the engineers themselves and on humans, and sat back and cried about it because for some reason he can cry. It was stupid. The next thing I didn't like about this movie, I didn't give a fuck about the David angle. They made this whole movie about David, and who gave a fuck about David? Like, honestly, I see what they did. They had an idea and they went forward with it, but who wanted that? And this is where I get into the shit that you may have already heard. Me personally, I wanted to know more about the engineers after Prometheus. I wanted to know if Numi Rapeface, I wanted to see her get to that fucking planet where the engineers came from. And I wanted to see her confront them and ask them why the fuck they wanted to wipe out humans on Earth. Because in Prometheus, they showed that. They were coming to Earth to wipe out people with that fucking alien virus. I wanted to know why they wanted to wipe out humans. I wanted to know if they had created humans in the first place. I wanted to know more about their civilization and where the fuck they had come from, and if they had in fact created the fucking xenomorph shit, or if they had just found it somewhere and just weaponized it and used it. I wanted to see their planet and what the fuck was going on with that. They didn't give us any of that, and that's the stuff that everybody was talking about. That's what I was saying. They made this whole movie about the fucking android, and who gives a fuck about the android? The fucking alien wasn't even like a big part of this movie. On top of that, the movie was barely watchable in the fact that the action sequences happened so fast that it was just blurry. You couldn't fucking see it. There were so many different versions of the alien, it didn't make sense. There was a shit like when the new captain followed creepy ass David, the fucking android, into a dungeon. He's just like, yeah, follow me and I'll show you. Right after the new captain saw David fucking flip out whenever he saw the new captain kill one of the fucking aliens. And then he just follows him down in this creepy dungeon. Nobody in their fucking right mind would do that. He just saw not only David acting crazy about the fucking alien being killed, but his fucking friend, the hot female broad, her head floating in a puddle. Like, he just saw that, and he still follows David down there and gets killed by a facehugger. This movie sucks. Bottom line, the movie was it was watchable, but it was a letdown. I really haven't thought about it at all since leaving the movie theater, mostly because the story was corny. I give it a C-. Seriously, pass on Alien Covenant.
Don't even bother. You can pass on that bullshit.
It sucks. Next movie is Turbo Kid. Turbo Kid is a bleak, apocalyptic future movie about a kid who gets mixed up in a war between an evil leader group of scavenger assholes and a handful of good guys fighting against them. I like this movie a lot. There's a female who's in the movie whose character is upbeat as fuck all the time, and she's happy. She's just always smiling, which is like my motto in life, to smile as much as you can. She's always smiling. She's like innocent, and her outlook on everything is innocent all the time, and the movie's worth watching just because of her, honestly. There's a shitload of action that's way over the top, bloody as fuck, and bloody guts ridiculous. Michael Ironsides is in it. He's the bad guy, and he's awesome as always. He's awesome in everything. I'm not going to say too much about this movie other than it's good. It's on Netflix. You should watch it.
You need to go on and watch that shit.
The next movie I've seen recently is called I Don't Feel Home in This World Anymore. It's also on Netflix. It's a movie about a woman who gets fed up with people being assholes and decides to take shit into her own hands. When her house gets robbed and the police won't do much to help. It has a silly side that gets really serious and then even more serious, and then people start dying very hardly. And it gets fucking brutal as fuck. Elijah Wood is in it. The dude from he was Frodo in the Lord of the Rings, one of my favorite movies ever. You would think he would be typecast and shit because of his look when he's like small, but honestly in this movie he was completely unrecognizable from the Lord of the Rings, mostly probably because he wore glasses. I enjoyed the fuck out of him and his weird ass character that gets inspired to join forces with the female lead, and then the two of them bite off more than they can chew when they when they decide to become vigilantes on a justice mission. It's crazy. Also, the chick from Don't Breathe is in it. If you saw Don't Breathe, there's one female in that movie, and she's in this movie, and she came out of nowhere. She was completely not fucking around at all. Her character was a fucking left hook surprise, and I won't say too much more other than that bitch was brutal, and this movie is definitely worth a watch on Netflix. It's on there right now, and you need to go see it. Watch that shit. Third movie on Netflix that I've seen recently. And by the way, all three of these Netflix movies I've watched because of a YouTube video that I saw. Netflix movies that you need to see that are out right now. And I watched all three of them, and I liked all three of them. The third one is Harlock Space Pirate. Harlock, Harlock, Space Pirate, on Netflix right now. This one is an animated space adventure movie about a future where humans expanded to many worlds stretching across the galaxy, and the population of all the worlds got crazy out of control. Eventually, there were like 90 bazillion gajillion people spread across the cosmos, and they all used up all the resources in the whole fucking galaxy, and then everybody tried to return back to Earth at the same time. Obviously, the Earth cannot fucking handle 90 bazillion gazillion people, and a war broke out between everyone trying to move back to see who had fucking the rights to move back, and lots of people started to fucking die. But then there were like this gargantuan class war spaceship. I forget what they were called, but one of them was captained by a dude named Harlock, and his ship actually had like a giant skull on the front of it, and it was like unbeatable, and they like fucked up everybody who was trying to get to the Earth. And there was a fucking whole deep ass story and a whole lot of fucking controversy and shit, and they would like pop up and fight. You eventually find out why their ship was so badass and shit. It sucked me in. I would definitely recommend it. If you like animated shit, I'll go ahead and say yes, it's worth watching. Watch that shit, especially if you like animated space war movies with ghosts and aliens and a future where nobody lives on the Earth because it's dead, but nobody actually knows it. Final movie review of the day: Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Just like Alien Covenant, I'm gonna break up this blockbuster movie into likes and dislikes categories. The likes for Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2. This movie is emotional as fuck, in a good way. I'll be honest with you. I got choked the fuck up at the end of this movie. I literally almost cried at the end of this movie. I'm not going to tell you why. I said that I do spoilers and everything, but I think that if you're any type of a Marvel fan, you should definitely go watch this movie and you'll see what I'm talking about. This movie gets emotional as fuck at the end. You have all kinds of fucking conflicts causing tugs on the heartstrings, as they say. I loved all the shit that had to do anything with friendship in this movie. I loved all the shit that had to do with redemption stuff in this movie, particularly with the character, what was his name, Yondu, the dude with the fucking light bar on his head that controlled the fucking arrow with a whistle. That dude, the space pirate dude, holy shit, his character choked me up. I seriously almost cried. The fight between the sisters, holy fuck, what is it, Gamora and the other chick with the nicer, bigger booty, who's actually almost 6 feet tall. I never knew that until I looked it up. What the fuck? It was Gamora and Platios. I don't know. The other one. The one broad hated the other broad so much that Gamora was like out jogging on some planet. Her sister came into the fucking atmosphere of that planet, caught the jogging sister on her fucking scanners or whatever, dive bombed the fuck out of her sister and started shooting at her. The sister on the ground starts running, runs into a cave. The chicken spaceship hates her sister so much that she crashes that fucking ship into the opening of that cave, can't fit, and keeps crashing that shit into that fucking opening of that cave until she gets in, fucking smashes that ship on top of her sister, blows herself up. The sister rips one of the guns off of that fucking ship, starts shooting. Like these broads hate each other on a level that is like epic. And it was so good. And it was so emotional. And at the end, when you find out why they hate each other so much, it's a really, really good story. It didn't make sense, actually. Especially if you see, obviously, if you're listening to this, you've seen the first one. Very, very fucking good. The emotions in the story run deep, and all the characters. I also love that Gold Queen broad on that planet, and she just would not fucking quit because she was not going to be disrespected by fucking anybody stealing shit from her. That was pretty cool. I mean, she did not quit till the fucking end. It didn't matter how many motherfucking spaceships she lost. That was the shit that I liked. I liked the friendship shit. I liked the rivalry shit. I liked a lot. I'm just going to say that I really liked this movie a lot, but it wasn't perfect. I had a bunch of dislikes. Here's my dislikes. Number one, I was into Kurt Russell, his whole celestial deal at first, but then after listening to him tell his story, the story kind of fell apart for me, turned kind of corny and didn't make any sense. I'll just say that my main problem with Kurt Russell as a celestial was the CGI. Him, when he was like his fucking celestial self as like lightning with like rocks attached to it, just looks stupid. The blue goo that was supposed to be him taking over other planets looks stupid. Him being like the core of the planet looks stupid. It seemed like they didn't know what to do with that, which is, I understand, but it sucked. And I eventually just didn't care for Kurt Russell's fucking character at all. He was made of light or rock or whatever, and that entire fucking third act of the movie, you can just fucking reshoot. It sucked. Another part, like most of the jokes in this entire movie fell flat, but I don't know why, because it's not like they were bad jokes. They were basically the same jokes carried forward from the first one. So in other words, it was like Gamora not wanting to dance and Drax having no couth, but I don't know why. For some reason, nobody in the theater laughed at any of the jokes. I don't know if it was the directing or the sound design or what, but the atmosphere wasn't there to put me or anybody else in the theater in a place to where we wanted to fucking laugh. I don't understand it. That's it. That's all I have to say about this movie. Bottom line, I really enjoyed it. It was long. It was the perfect length for me. Just long enough. The emotions were there. I got emotional at the end, and it really sucked me in. I cared about the characters. I was thinking about the movie afterwards. Those are the things that are important to me. I do want to see the movie again. I'll probably buy it on 4K Blu-ray. I'll give it a B+, but it did have problems. Next segment.
1, 2, 3.
Fix it now!
Say it louder.
Fix it now!
Fix it now. What I want to talk about right now for Fix It Now is the gear selector in my truck. I have a 2016 Ram 1500, and there's a dial, a knob for changing gears on the dashboard of the car. Here's my problem. I don't mind. A lot of people absolutely hate having that fucking knob. I'm not one of those people. It doesn't bother me at all. I like innovation and moving forward. Fine, whatever. But if you look from left to right, you have my gear shift knob, which is what I'm talking about, which says park, reverse, neutral, drive. Right next to it, you have the volume dial, which is also a dial, just a little bit smaller than that big one for the fucking gear shift. Right next to that, you have another even bigger one, which is almost the same size, probably the same size as the fucking gear shift one, which is for the climate control. You tap the center button of it to turn the climate control on, and then you turn the dial to turn the fan up or down. Right next to that, you have another dial, which is for whatever. My point is, you have all these dials in a row, and so many times I have reached over to like turn the volume down in a hurry and grab that shift knob and started yanking on it in the wrong direction.
That is bad to have.
They either need to have that shit, make it a fucking square block, make it a push button, make it some other with ridges in it or something, some other type of fucking situation so that you know as soon as you touch that, oop, that's fucking for the fucking gear shifter. Holy shit. It's in line with 3 other fucking knobs that are all similar size and shape. That shit's not cool. Fix it now. Next segment.
You expect me to tell him about the next segment?
Something I bought recently. As you all know, I like coffee. My favorite coffee so far has been in some fucking restaurant, which I don't know where the fuck. I don't remember where it was, but I just remember being like, oh my goodness, what the fuck is this? Oh, this is so good. So I'm going to start this off with a question. How do you get like extremely gourmet coffee like in your home? Somebody tell me. Somebody send me an email and tell me you need to get the AVP 2230 and it's a 27 step process. I don't care. I don't care what it is. Tell me how I can make super gourmet fucking coffee at my house. I want that. You need to understand that I'm going to be wealthy soon. Once I'm wealthy, I will demand a level of gumption. No, that's the wrong word. I already have extreme wealth fucking taste. So yeah, Starbucks, second favorite coffee. My favorite coffee is the shit that they sell at Panera. Like, they only have one kind, I believe. For whatever reason, I always dug it. So Panera, and then just the plain old Pike hot shit regular ass coffee at fucking Starbucks. Love it. It has like a bitterness to it, and it's really strong. After that, it's a crapshoot. I really like Sheet's Sumatra blend. Recently, I went in Starbucks and I saw a bag of some shit called Komodo dragon beans, and I was like, dude, is this shit good? Talking to the guy behind the counter, and he was like, yeah, I like it. I was like, well, fucking grind this shit up, bro. He grinded it up for me. Or no, it was a broad. I'm sorry. She grinded it up for me. Took that shit home. I really dig it. Starbucks Komodo Dragon coffee. Get the beans, have them fucking grind it up for you fresh. Bring it home, put it in your fucking coffee maker. It's very strong, but it's like crisp. It's like fucking Mount Everest in your fucking balls. I love it. The second so that's something I bought recently. I'm giving it 2 thumbs up. The second thing I'm gonna recommend is American Bodybuilding Maxx Recovery post-workout drink, which they sell at fucking GNC stores and on motherfucking Amazon. That shit is it's not only 35 grams of whey protein, 60 grams of carb, and delicious as fuck as a post-workout or pre-workout fucking protein drink. It's also the single most delicious tasting liquid that I've ever had in my mouth, other than coochie juices. Sorry. Vagina in my mouth is the number one taste. Sorry. ABB, American Bodybuilding Maxx Recovery post-workout drink. Grape frost and fruit punch. 35 grams of protein. Whey protein, not soy protein or like fucking weird plant protein bullshit. 60 grams of carbs. You know what? I don't even give a fuck if that shit is good or not for like working out. It is the best tasting fucking liquid in the world, period. Next segment.
You see, the problem with you is you're a fucking asshole. It's not complicated, it's simple. You're just an asshole.
You're an asshole if you cuss at your kids like they're adults who owe you money. I can't tell you how many times I've fucking seen this shit. 99% of the time, it's by ghetto ass black babes at Walmart with their fucking Section 8 babies. Listen, you don't ever talk to a kid like that. I don't give a fuck how young or old your kid is. I don't give a fuck how angry you are at what the fuck your kid did. I don't give a fuck if it's in your house or out in public. You should not ever talk to a child that way for one reason. I mean, there are many reasons, but my one reason is that kid is going to grow up and be a piece of shit just like you. Okay? Don't cuss at your kids like that. Don't cuss at your kids, period. If you're a ghetto ass piece of shit parent who cusses at their kids, I'm trying to tell you, like, if you are caught on camera talking to your kid that way, your child, you're susceptible, moldable. I don't want to say innocent because there's a lot of bad kids that just aren't innocent. They're just not. Like, just don't do that. You don't. I don't give a fuck what the situation is. You talking to them like that just is going to make them worse. They're going to become another you, and we obviously don't need one of you, let alone 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Punishment for that is you get trebucheted by the world's giantest trebuchet off planet. I don't want you on my planet. Get off my fucking planet if you think it's okay to talk to kids like that. Next segment.
Next segment!
All right, it's time to talk about a song. Here's a song. Check out the song. Let me know what you think about the song.
Desperate to find what dreams are made of.
That song is called Meyreya, Mereya. The band is called Candiria, Candiria. The album is called While They Were Sleeping. It was saved in my Shazam in a list of songs that was in my phone. I like that song a lot. I'm going to find out more about that band and more songs from that band soon and talk about them. Like I said, it was in my Shazam. I have 1,000 songs in my Shazam. I went back and was like, I need a song for this fucking episode. Let me look through. Landed on that one. And I fucking love it. Next segment.
Here's a hygiene tip for you. You stink. Get away from me.
Here's a hygiene tip for you. Brush your teeth, Buster, and get away from me.
You've just got to have better smelling breath, mate. That's all. Then perhaps you can make friends.
Your hygiene tip for the day is if you lay your head down to rest anywhere other than your own domicile. I don't give a fuck if it's in a hostel, if it's in a fucking hotel room, if it's over your friend's house, if it's over your baby mama house, if it's over some woman's house who is a one-night stand that you met at the bar, if it is on the floor at your best homie's house, if there is a mattress nearby, lift up the covers for that mattress and look at the fucking sides of that fucking mattress on that bed and inspect it for motherfucking bed bugs.
Let me repeat that. If you are in a hotel or over your friend's house, or if you just met some broad at a bar or some dude at a bar and you're sleeping on their strange bed and you were laying on their fucking bed when they're not looking or when they are looking, who gives a fuck? Pull up the sheets on the corner of that bed and look for gatherings of motherfucking bed bugs.
If you have never seen gatherings of bed bugs on the side of a mattress, I implore you to go ahead and Google that shit right now. Just go on Google and type bed bugs mattress and you will see what it looks like. It looks like an infection, which I have personally lived through. And I'm going to tell you, motherfucking bed bugs are vampires like fucking mosquitoes. They suck your blood and they get fat and they hang off of your fucking skin, and you will wake up, you will be having dreams, nightmares about them, and you'll be itching in your sleep, and you'll wake up and you'll run your fucking hand across your fucking forearm and you'll smash and smear 5 or 6 of them that have been sitting there on your fucking forearm sucking your blood, and then your whole forearm will be covered in blood, and then your hand will be covered in blood, and both of your hands will be covered in blood, and you'll wake up and your fucking eyes open, you'll be holding your hands out in front of your face, and it'll just be blood covered hands.
This will give you post-traumatic stress syndrome, which I literally have from that exact scenario.
The final segment of the day. The final segment of the day. The final segment of the day. The final segment of the day is Champion Beauty.
Final segment of the day is Champion Beauty of the Day.
Today's champion beauty is Eva Green. For me, this was a no-brainer. First time I saw her, she was automatically on my list of my favorite, most beautiful women in Hollywood ever. And the first time I saw her was in Casino Royale, and she just had a powerful presence. Something about her face is just powerful. She just looks like a worthwhile pursuit. To quote a line from that fucking movie, when another fine-ass woman in the movie said something like, "To you, women are disposable pleasures instead of worthwhile pursuits." Well, sometimes you just look at a woman and you can just tell she's a worthwhile pursuit. You know what, though? That's probably totally bullshit, because I would have probably thought that my baby mama was a worthwhile pursuit. Yeah, they can fool you. Anyway, Eva Green. Yeah, I like her a lot. She's a famous woman that stands out among the other ones on the screen. From those big, beautiful eyes to her lips. But it's mostly just that look on her face. Something about that look is like she's curious about everything, but like very curious about everything. And it makes like an innocence on her face, and then on top of that innocence, she says like in interviews, how she's like shy and shit. So that comes through on her face, but also like this powerful beauty and this slamming body. And she's just like this mystery to me. And she's also a dope ass actress. Yeah, if I met her, I'd like to date her. Absolutely. What else? That dress in Casino Royale. Oh my goodness. I'm trying hard to think of a dress that looked better on a woman anywhere on TV ever. I mean, damn, that purple dress when she came out to the poker table, was that not the best looking dress ever? I mean, did she not look better than any woman ever in that fucking dress? her big ass, beautiful eyes. Damn, I know Daniel Craig had a fucking hard on underneath that fucking table, and every other dude too when she came walking out. And you know they had to do that scene probably 100 times. Ugh, envy. I'm envious. Yeah, she just looks good, and she's like naked in every movie that she's in. And that body, I'm telling you, that body is it's out of this world. But then, all right, so, but even more than just being fine as hell, I'm telling you, that woman has a power behind her face. Like in 300, the movie Part 2, whatever it was called, the Ship of the Damned or whatever the fuck it was, that she was in, and she played like the warrior queen woman. Totally believable. Warrior woman, sold it 1,000%. Like I would have had a hard time turning her down, just like the Mysticles did. She gave him that choice, like, you can come with me, motherfucker, and we're both badass. Let's rule together. And he was like, yeah, I'd have been like, damn. Yeah, she just emotes like an excellence about her, like almost a royalty, you know, like, I don't know, just power, just power in her face. What else? Sin City Diaries, naked the whole fucking movie. I don't know, I enjoyed the shit out of that. Yeah, and the character she played, like, she had a bodyguard, and the bodyguard said something like, the mistress takes no lovers, you fools, she makes slaves of men. Yeah, totally believable. She looks like she could just step on dudes' throats and just have whatever she wants. She looks like a queen, seriously. That's all I'm gonna say. Eva Green, unforgettable to me, automatically. From the first time I saw her on the screen in the fucking halls of glory of the champion beauties of the world. Round of applause for the beautiful and mysterious and powerful Eva Green. That's it for today's show, folks. Thank you as always for joining me. I appreciate your patience. Love y'all. I'm coming back with episode 16 probably tomorrow. Please don't forget the show's on YouTube. I'm putting up a new video segment to go with the YouTube clip. We're also everywhere else you can find your podcasts, on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, Podcast Republic, where I listen. All that shit. Spread the word. Buy the book. Be good. Help other people. Take care of yourself. As always, peace.